a spotlighted mentee to share their experience. So with this mentee spotlight, we have an alumni to share her experiences as part of the MDS mentoring program. And she is in the person of Agnes Fusite, and she was one of the very first mentees who joined the mentoring program. And she was Audrey's first mentee as well. And yeah, Agnes has been part of 3 cohorts of the mentoring program. So please, with a warm applause, you can clap or you can use the emoji. Let's welcome Agnes Fusise. Agnes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gifty. Please give me a moment while I bring up my slides. Yeah. Okay. Please, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much to Audrey and then the MDS team for giving me this opportunity to come on today and talk about how much this mentorship journey has impacted me and what it has given me so far and how well I'm doing now. So I'm going to start today by talking about how I joined the mentorship program. So I joined the MDS and AKF mentorship program in 20. So I joined the MDS program in 2020 as part of the pilot program, as Gifty mentioned. And this was just at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we had gone to our various hometowns after school and trying to, get conversant with learning online and integrate distance learning into a degree program that we had no idea how to balance the two. The MDS program really was instrumental in how I was able to adjust to this journey. And my first mentor, Audrey, was just so wonderful. At the point where I started this mentorship, I was at home trying to go on studying and just put everything together to be able to keep my coursework going and understand things that my lectures were going on about without any sort of peer support, because I was the kind of student that learned more if I had more opportunities to interact with my peers when it comes to studies. But I wasn't able to get this opportunity while I was at home. So I had to speak to Audrey about some of the challenges I was facing, trying to keep up with my assignments, trying to understand just like a 1 hour lecture and doing assignments based on that without any sort of support. Audrey was really instrumental in like helping me adjust in this phase. And I remember at some point I had talked to her about trying my hands on a hackathon to like get used to learning on an online platform. And she really, really encouraged me towards this venture. So I joined the hackathon, but unfortunately I wasn't able to go far. But it also just gave me the opportunity to see how my other colleagues were doing when it came to the same challenges I was facing. And it became a way to motivate myself that if my colleagues could go this far just learning on a virtual platform, then I could do the same. Unfortunately, in that year, I had failed one of my courses, which was networking. So I failed the course, and then I had to come back and write to my school about the circumstances under which I failed the course. And if I could be given the opportunity to resit this course in the next year. At that point, my mentor changed to Shola, and I talked to her as well that this had happened while I was giving all the support available, but I wasn't able to keep up and I had failed one of my courses. So she also talked to me And my school allowed me to take the course, then they resit the course again. But then I was in the next year. So I was in my fourth year, having to do a third year course all over again. And then, putting this together with the burden of doing your full fourth year course, your final presentation, your capstone project, and then resitting a course again. Now, this was a period where I was really, really overwhelmed. So my mentor at the time, Shola, became sort of a bedrock where anytime we had meetings, we were just in there devising strategies as to how we can, as to how I can balance everything on my schedule while like still giving quality work to my lectures and everything. I remember with Shola, we even came up with a timetable on how I could balance things and still be able to submit quality work and submit my work on time, because it was difficult for me to manage my time efficiently while like having a lot of things on my plate. So Shola was a mentor I had until I was almost done with my degree. At the end part, my last mentor was Paula. At this point in my head, I had thought I had gained everything I could out of the mentorship journey. So I had asked Auntie Akofa that I wouldn't be joining the next cohort because I wanted to give up the opportunity for someone else to benefit as well. But Auntie Akofa mentioned that I am now transitioning into a work environment and I need someone who had more experience in that level to be able to guide me on how to integrate well into the work environment. Now, just to mention, two of my first mentors were all in the tech field. I am a computer science graduate, so I was basically doing computer science and working with technology at the time. So the MDS Foundation really matched up my talents and what I was doing at the moment with the mentors they were giving me. At the end, though, I got a recruiter, and I think at this point also it was a really perfect match because it allowed me to see myself from the view of someone who is about to hire me. And it was just so wonderful because at this point, I could talk to Paula about what I want to do in the work environment, how I want to present myself while I went there, and the things that she, as a recruiter, sees that are valuable in me that I should be able to present when I go into work environment. And she was really instrumental. I think I would also share one great impact and something she had also guided me to do that is still impacting me as I work right now. So let's talk about the things I was able to reap from this whole mentorship journey. So the key moments in my academic success, as I mentioned, was where I failed a course and I had to resit, and trying to put everything together and juggle it with my new year. And wonderfully, I was able to pass the old course while I was the one I failed while I was in my fourth year. And I did so much better that I thought, why didn't I do that well when I was back in third year? But then I understood that there was a limitation. I wasn't motivating myself enough, and maybe that's why I failed it. And now, some of the sessions we had with the MDS mentorship, some of them included CV workshops, personal branding, and those were like things I really, really wanted to build on, because working in tech, we are kind of people that we mostly like to be in the background and work on our stuff and then let someone else speak on behalf of us as to what we do. But I wanted to be able to sell myself out there and be able to just meet someone and talk to them, and they are able to get that, oh, this is an amazing young lady that has gotten here, not just because she's talented, but because she can also sell herself very well. With all my mentors, I always talk to them that I want to build on my public speaking skills. I don't know if the program is still run the same way, but at the beginning of my mentorship cohorts, we are asked on what we want to personally develop with our mentors. And in every time, I listed that I want to be good with public speaking. So we always had this TED Talk assignments. I don't know if we still have them now, where we could go and watch a TED Talk and then come back into our sessions and talk about the things we reaped from it. And those were just wonderful. Even till now, I give myself this assignment where I go, like, I want to go watch someone speaking and see how they are able to do it, to see if I will also be able to replicate it in an environment. And this has also let me gain a lot of confidence when it comes to my professional environment. Now, when it came to my professional environment, right now I work as an IT auditor with a financial institution. And working in audits does mean it's no longer a background work, but it's something that I have to do. And then afterwards, I have to go to management and tell them this is what I did, and this is the result that came out of it. So imagine me as just a fresh graduate in a professional environment. And in my first audit, actually, I was in a room with our CEO and MD presenting my findings from the audit. And it was just so nerve-wracking. Like, I mean, I am not even a senior auditor, I'm a junior auditor in this case, but I had to be in that situation. And I can't just speak about how much these sessions have helped me to build this kind of confidence and get here where I am now. Also, when it came to my career, as I keep talking, the mentorship, especially with my last mentor, was able to help me transition successfully into a workplace where I work with, in a very male-dominated field. So as a young lady, I needed to just not be there because of maybe looks or my network, but be there because I have the skills and I can talk about the skills I have. When I was doing my national service, that's a 1-year program we do here in Ghana to, a government program that is mandatory, sort of like an apprenticeship. When I was doing that, at that point, Paula was still my mentor. And I mentioned to her that I don't know what else to do after this apprenticeship, because by then I was an IT support person. So I was basically working in IT support. I told Paula I don't want to be technical and I don't know what else to do with just a degree. So she mentioned to me that I should start looking up to other online stuff that I could do a course or anything. So I went on LinkedIn and started looking up some of these foundations. In school, I was really into security on the internet, cybersecurity, and how to, get people secure well their browsers. So when I went online and I was looking for the opportunities to develop myself, cybersecurity became one of the focus points that I wanted to look at. And so I just saw this a 1-year fellowship that a Nigerian company was advertising that they wanted to have young girls go into for. So I took this opportunity and then went back to Paula and talked to her about it. I told her cybersecurity is something I want to go into, and it's something I see myself building up in. So I'll like to see if I could get an opportunity if I apply. She was like, "Oh, Agnes, go ahead and apply and let's see how it goes." So I went ahead and I applied, and then I got that email that I had to come in for an interview, a virtual interview. So I went back to Paula. I said, "There's a virtual interview. How do you think this is going to look like?" And she said we could do sort of a practice interview session. So I think one of my calls, I wasn't even in the main Mentee session. We had it through WhatsApp, and she engaged me into try to coach me on how they previous interview questions and how I should answer them and everything. So I went back to the cybersecurity fellowship interview, and with God's grace and from practice, I was able to pass that interview, and then I got into the program. So this was me juggling an apprenticeship with an online fellowship, and the fellowship was very hands-on with me having to write industry certifications and everything. But with Paula's encouragement, I was able to juggle the two. And that was when my mentorship journey with Paula had ended, but I still kept on with the fellowship and was able to complete it. Now, this fellowship was very instrumental in me getting the role I am in right now, because when the application for the role came in and someone had reached out to me that they saw this opportunity and they thought I'll be fit for it, I looked into the requirements, and the only thing I had in common with the whole requirement is that I had a computer science degree. I didn't have anything else except I had a computer science degree and I have knowledge about cybersecurity. So I went into this interview and I was talking, with all the skills I had gained from the fellowship with and the MDS mentorship program as well. I was able to articulate myself. And when I got out of that interview, with just their response alone, I knew at least my one foot was in the door. So this whole mentorship journey was not just something that left me on the road, but it was something that carried me until where I am right now. Most of my interactions with my mentors were, things where it wasn't just a one-way street where I could just go in there and then ask them questions and that was the end of it. It was mainly a discussion about what I wanted and how I would work towards it. So they weren't spoon feeding me or anything. Most of my mentorship meetings ended with an assignment that I had to go back and do and present it to my mentor the next time I come in. And we talked about it and everything. Even in situations where I couldn't meet them on the main mentorship call on normal days, I still had opportunity to schedule a separate meeting with them. The MDS mentors really, really had so much time for me. And I don't know how my other colleagues experienced it, but it was just a situation where even though I wasn't disturbing them outside of like their normal mentorship times, if I ever just got in contact with any of my mentors and I asked for a scheduling of something where I needed to talk about the challenge I was facing, I'll just get responses like, oh, let's meet at this time and talk through this, and let's meet at that time and talk through this. So for me and my experience, the mentorship journey was not me being spoon-fed any sort of information, but me working progressively with my mentor to discover the things I wanted to do and where I wanted to get in my journey with them. Through this, I still have the dream of becoming a Chief Information Security Officer. And I know that the skills I have gained from this journey wouldn't just be here, but there are things that will guide me towards the future. And through this as well, I've learned the importance of mentorship. As I'm growing now, it's getting difficult to find people who are in the industry and then have the time for me to be able to mentor me as effectively as the MDS mentorship went. And as I'm growing as well, I am understanding how difficult it is to get mentors that are able to dedicate their time to you. Because, I've had one mentor after the MDS mentorship who was outside this whole program, and it wasn't as engaging as I had experienced over here. So I went in with the expectation that it would be just like this, and no, it wasn't. And it was difficult to know that that was basically how mentorship meant to some people. It was for them just someone, they just say, do this and do that, and then that ends it. No sort of checking, no sort of milestone that they lead you through or anything like that. So as I don't know whether to call the mentees here now genius as they are now, I want to encourage you to give your all to these sessions. When we were going through the icebreaker session, I was a bit disappointed because I didn't notice AKF girls were like this. We are people that are very outspoken, so I had expected a lot of participation, but I was a bit disappointed. I don't know if that's how your normal mentorship sessions go, but I just want to advise that a mentorship it's not a one-way street where you come in and any industry professional tells you go and do I'm teaching you this or I'm teaching you that. It's a two-way street where you give and they give to you. My interactions with the mentors here had not just been me sitting down and being quiet when questions are being asked, but to show the enthusiasm to be here and to show that I am here to learn, not because anyone is asking me to learn, but because I know I'm going to use it later on in the future. And I know that some of us here are going to finish this mentorship program and look back on it years later and see how easy we had it here with mentors that were so responsive and were just there to answer any questions we had and lead us well. So thank you so much again to the MDS program and to the AKF program for making this opportunity available. I'm going to end this session with a quote with a quote from Oprah Winfrey, that a mentor is basically someone who helps you see the hope that you have in yourself. In fact, all my mentors here were people that believed that I had the potential, even though I myself did not believe it. And even till now, I still don't believe half of it. But there were people that saw me and noticed that this lady or this young lady has so much potential, and they were willing to put in the work to help me understand that this was an important part of my journey, which I needed to learn more about and to be able to integrate myself into. Thank you so much for the opportunity, as well to MDS for calling me in today again and letting me talk about how much this program has impacted me.